You are listening to Blue Please right here on CynicalBrit.com, the illusion of choice. Well, the only good one this week as well. It's very short, but it's to the point. It says this: Dear TB, what do you think of combat RNG? I couldn't take PvP seriously because random number generation has no room in competitive gaming. Well, you're right, it doesn't, which is why PvP is not competitive gaming. You hear that? Yes. It's the millions of PvPers crying out in terror and then suddenly silenced. I'm sorry, but it isn't. It's not. You can never, ever, ever consider it to be. And I am well aware that it had an esports scene for a time, and it was the most contrived, forced bollocks I've ever seen. To the point where nobody even bothers with it anymore. It's been dropped from, as far as I'm aware, pretty much every major esports organization. You can't treat it... You just can't. You cannot take it seriously. It has too much RNG in it, as you said. Pretty much nonsense. I don't know why it's built around that, but... Here's the thing. I also think it's okay. The problem, I think, is when people take PvP more seriously than it's intended to be. PvP, to me, is a nice little side show, and some people like to take it as their main choice of playstyle. It's alright. Yeah, fine, go for it. Absolutely. But don't expect it to be taken as a serious competitive esport, because it's not. The problem is that I know that when my unit in StarCraft shoots at another unit in StarCraft, it does a set amount of damage. And it's going to do that every time. So I know how many units I need to kill this unit, how long it's going to take to kill this unit. There are no critical hits, there are no missed chances of freaking ramps or anything like that. But in World of Warcraft, I have no idea what my swing is going to hit via a vague range of what it might hit for, but who knows, I might just get unlucky that day. And you might say, oh, the law of averages. Well, no, it won't. Not over the course of a PvP battle. PvP battles are way too short for that. Unless, of course, you've got 3 wrestler druids, in which case, well, enjoy that. The RNG element, to me, it means that arenas will never be taken seriously as a competitive esport, assuming they ever were. I certainly don't believe they were. There were broadcasts of it, absolutely. There are still tournaments, absolutely. But I would agree with your point. There is no room... I don't know. I don't think there's no room for RNG in competitive gaming, but I think there is definitely not room for a lot of it. There's quite a few games that have it. For instance, Heroes of Newerth. Crit Chance. Crit Chance is in Hon, yet Hon is a competitive game. The main problem being that there's just so much range within World of Warcraft, and I don't know if they've really made any effort to reduce that. Not visibly. Not that I've seen. Unless their idea is, well, we're going to try and elongate the combat by giving people a lot more health, and as such the law of averages will take care of this. Maybe that was their rationale and reason behind that. And I suppose it arguably makes PvP more skillful, but the thing is that's always been a two-sided coin, hasn't it? As opposed to a three-sided coin. Those are fairly rare, by the way. If you come across any, then definitely give them to me so I can flog them on eBay. We're talking about the idea that a longer PvP fight requires you to do more things right over a longer period of time, and it requires more focus. But the flip side of it is that a shorter PvP fight requires greater reaction times as well as quicker decision-making and things like that, and it also gives you less margin for error. Because if you make a mistake in a short PvP fight, well, you do. If you make a mistake in a longer PvP fight, perhaps not so much. But, on the flip side, of course, you've got more time to make more mistakes, so it kind of balances out that way. It's weird. I don't really know what the answer is to that. I think there's a bit of truth to both arguments, that short PvP fights are more skillful than long, and vice versa. But no, I don't take arena play seriously as a direct result of that. I don't know if anyone really should. I don't know how seriously you really should take anything within WoW. I mean, you'd never really say that raiding was a competitive esport or anything like that. PvP, just because it's direct player versus player, was for a time considered to be an esport and was broadcast as one, and then rapidly fell out of favour when people realised it's actually a very, very bad spectator esport. I know this because I commentated, and for God's sake, I won prizes for it. I won Blizzard's shoutcasting contest for Arena. I'd never shoutcasted Arena before, I had no idea what was going on, and I still won it anyway. Why? Pfft, God knows. But I think it's more to the point that it doesn't actually matter what's going on. And it's really hard to see what's going on anyway, because there's not enough visual feedback within the game. But yeah. That's my thoughts on that. I don't really have anything else to say on it, honestly. I'm going to do some shout-outs, and then I am going to hopefully, I do mean hopefully, try and get this the quest going at the top of Hyjal. Here's hoping it actually works out. It might not, so I'll be trying to live stream that, and we'll see how that turns out. So send shoutouts in to themurloc@gmail.com, that is themurloc@gmail.com. Alternatively, you can send me a PM over IRC, that's irc.quakenet.org, hash or pound cynical Brit. That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. Send it over. And those of you who are listening to the podcast, I will put a link to what I'm hopefully about to do, assuming the damn thing doesn't break horribly, in the description on the website, so that you can very easily check that out. So make sure that you do head over to the website, cynicalbrit.com, to have a look and see exactly where that video is. And that will be part of this multimedia presentation. Synergy. Direct workflow and all that nonsense. Okay. Don't send shoutouts in the channel, because that would make you dumb. I don't read the channel, it scrolls too fast anyway. A shout out to Avatas for getting the Minecraft server network running after a lot of agonizing days. A shout out to iKing because you have gold under your chair, that's a lie. A shout out to myself and my new Steel Series mouse /plug, that's from Onin. Personally, I prefer Razer. A shout out to the Spaz developers, really loving the beta and very much looking forward to the final release, that's from Stoggles. Can I get a shout out to Tactical Retreat on US Senjin, that's from Aminoge, something like that. Can I get a shout out to the Bacon Trolls that should be there, that's from Ray Ray. Shout out to MinMax Games for that awesome game Spaz, once again. And a shout out to iKing for being an awesome mod in the IRC tonight, that's from Rossa. A shout out to Shadowmorn for the fight with DCing on the US PTRs earlier, doing Alice Raza. Also a shout out to a shout out to the server Medivh for being pretty chill, and a shout out to TB for getting me back into WoW after 3 months. Oh god, I don't know, should I apologise for that? That's from Drakthion. A shout out to yeah, Double Ard Bar Stewards, please. 5 years in Canada. I was just like, is there some kind of double entendre in there? Something that I am missing? No, there you go. It's from Skytech. Shout out to Terraria for striking gold. Over 9,000 kilometers below ground. That's from Grammaton. And shout out to Langdon, who's finally downed Heroic Nefarian. Congratulations, you are one of very few people. A shout out to Oscar Roos for being awesome. That is from Andreas. And a shout out to Blizzard for giving us Alice Raza, the most exciting fight I've seen anywhere since Ulduar. That's from Icy Shadow. A shout out to Yugurk, my friend, for getting permabanned. Well, grats. That's from Matt Daniels. And a shout out to Sandranisic from EU Emirates for being the most goddamn lucky bastard with the loot. That's from Daniel. And one last shout out, I think, before we try and play some music and then see if we can set up for this PTR streaming. Shout out to the guild that counters complaints of US Boulder Fist Alliance. That's from Jacquelino. Okay, folks, thanks for listening to Blue Please tonight. I know it's a bit shorter than usual. There's a reason for that, because, of course, there's going to be this video coming up directly afterwards, assuming that the damn thing actually works. We will find out. I hope it works. I really, really do. If it doesn't, I will not be happy at all. Okay, what should we go out on? There are many, many good tracks. Difficult decision to make. I don't know, I think maybe some Blind Guardian wouldn't go amiss. Which one, though? Imaginations from the other side? Yes, that would give me 7 minutes to try and figure out if I can actually do this stream for you. The stream will be over on JustinTV/TotalBiscuit. That is justin.tv/TotalBiscuit, and I will be attempting to stream some of the Elemental Bonds questline that has just come up, and that's one of the major features of patch 4.2, and we'll see if it doesn't suck. My name is TotalBiscuit. I'm out of here. I'll see you next time.